everyone. Welcome to the Felicity, Optimist versus Cynic podcast with us, your hosts, Melissa and Fish. This is a Felicity rewatch podcast. We usually watch an episode each week and join you here to talk about it, but this time, a little bit different. It's a season recap. We'll get into that in a second. So just a reminder, the reminder we always give, there's a potential that you'll hear some spoilers as we cover this season recap. It's not a spoiler-free podcast. Who knows what'll come up when Fish gives her predictions for next season or when we talk about their favorite stuff from this season. Could be spoilers because it's not spoiler-free. So I am Melissa, and I am here with my Renaissance co-host, Fish. Fish,
Lovely.
how are you doing today?
I am doing all things well, otherwise known as a Renaissance woman. Yes, I am good. I am caffeinated. I am ready to go.
Yes, and you are placed in a very specific era.
Yes.
Okay, sometimes that's what happens when I look for words on the fly. That's good stuff. So what are we talking about today? We've already set it up a little bit. This is going to be a season recap show. We did it for season 1. We did it for season 2. And now we're doing it for season 3 recap show. I don't know. We just like to put a button on the season and talk about the stuff that really sticks out to us at the end, good and bad. You can guess who does which parts. And that, we go back through our notes. We look at what we thought about the different episodes, and then we're gonna bring all the bests and worsts of it all to you. And as we did with season 1 and 2, we have a pretty similar format that we're adhering to each time. We are posing the same questions to ourselves that we've done in the past because it helps us track the progress and what we think about the show. So I don't know. Anything else we need to say about the setup of this, Fish?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty similar to last time. We're just, this season was different. You said this season would be different, and it was.
Sure. Well, it definitely wasn't season 1 or 2. Well,
it was
actually,
neither of them.
I mean, this isn't specifically a question, but since we're starting with a more general thing, in what ways did you feel it was different?
It definitely was not as funny, I would say. Like, I was looking for what was the funniest moment, and there were many to choose from in the other seasons, but the whole tone of this season, I think, was much more dramatic. I think they had some really great dramatic lines and writing and shots that they did, but it was lacking in the lighter plot lines, or at least the lighter, if there were lighter plot lines, they didn't come to the surface. It's the way you've been saying that A and B plots are good and C and D or even B plots aren't that great. I felt that more in this season, I think, than any other.
Totally fair. And that is kind of the interesting thing about going back through notes to try to answer these same questions, because there are things that also for me, I was like, oh, last time I probably had a lot of stuff in this category and maybe not as many this time. So you're right. I also didn't have a lot for funniest things that happened this season. We've had a couple of fans of the show Felicity who've written to us and been and referred to seasons 3 and 4 as being more soapy.
Maybe that's what they meant, like more dramatic, less sitcom, more drama.
Yeah. So, well, let's get into it, shall we? All right. Look, the first question is the perennial Ben versus Noel, and we've just been taking each other's temperature on this every season to see where we stand with it. Did you want me to jump in first on it, or did you?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, we already know what your answer is.
Yeah, we already know. I mean, this is like the least surprising answer ever. I'm going to say Ben. I think in spite of the Randy blip of the radar or moment, I think we saw a lot of good stuff from Ben in this season. I mean, we've seen him buying her art, Felicity's art. We've seen him trying to make the apartment that she sporadically got work. We see him planning a surprise party for her. For me, a really, really big moment was that he asked her mom to sit down and have a
Mhm.
conversation. And I think that's a very brave thing for him to do. And I don't know that a lot of people would do a thing like that, to sort of meet head on the doubts that your girlfriend's parents have about you, doubts you probably have about yourself, doubts you think she has about you too, and just to try to tackle it and have an honest conversation with I don't know, not in-laws, but girlfriend's parents. I think that was a very brave thing. And then the whole back half of the season is really dedicated to Ben is changing. And in season 2, they had this same, like, Ben's trying to find what he wants to do, but it was coming from a different place. And in a lot of those situations, and it was something you remarked on, it was coming from the place of what would Felicity like. Felicity would want me to be a more serious person like Greg. This is coming from inside now. And he's had a really triggering event and he's trying to figure out who he is. So I think a lot of that stuff I mentioned first was first half of the season. And then once you hit the back half of the season, Ben's on a more easy to articulate journey of, like, figuring out what adulthood's going to look like for him. So I'm going to say Ben, despite the Randy stuff. And, like, when I thought about Noel comes off just so desperate to me this season. And the Jane stuff is really hard for me to get behind him with. And, like, I don't know. He just often seems very unbalanced to me in this season. And I want him to take care of himself.
Yeah.
So that's where I land with it. But what about you?
I wish I could remember or find my notes from season 1, because I remember that last season, for most of the season, I think I was thinking Noel, and then I came down at the end of the season on Ben. And I think it was the opposite the first season, that I was so surprised by how toxic Noel was. Mm-hmm. And how great Ben was.
That sounds right.
But at the end of the season, I think I came down on Noel. But
well, Noel remember. Ben had some gambling stuff at the end.
Yeah.
He had I think there was the introduction of a violent.
Yeah. I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of switched those two seasons, where it was like majority of the season 1, but at the end, really the other one. This time I'm going full Noel, which I find so weird, looking back on my notes, because he was so toxic in season 1. And then he continues to have very problematic behavior. Like, there's no doubting that. And his insecurity is off the charts. So don't get me wrong. I don't think either of these men are perfect, but neither is Felicity, right? So we're dealing with imperfect people. But whereas for you, I think the Tyra Banks Jane stuff was, like, particularly egregious. For me, it's the violence. And so I have to take into account all the stuff with Randy. Ben has put somebody in the hospital, and then he gets put in the hospital. And then on top of that, when he gets out of the hospital, Felicity's just like, takes him back. And then he's, like, unsure about Felicity and goes off with Avery, doesn't know what's going on with himself or his future, and he's really lost a lot of the time. And I feel like he takes his anger and his frustration out on Felicity at times. Everything from like punching the lamp to like snapping at her sometimes. And that really rubs me the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
And, on the flip side of that, I see the things that Noel does, like he creates the breakup kit. He creates the time capsule. He's there for her and he's ready for her. And I get that there is a desperation there and insecurity, but Ben doesn't know what's going on. And Noel is there and ready to have a relationship. And not only that, but he went through his whole Leon phase at the beginning of the season and got back to his plan. He has a plan for the future. He's, at least was trying to make it happen. He's, stable from that perspective, and he's able now to set appropriate boundaries and say, no, like, this is what I deserve. Now, is he going to completely forget those over the summer? Possibly.
Yeah, all that's good until the last 2 minutes of this season finale episode.
I mean, he walks back in. We don't really know what's going to happen. At least I don't really know what's going to happen.
Basically, everything that you put as a credit to him just now is like, oh, he has a plan. Well, that's blown to smithereens now. And he's got boundaries. Well, he's living in the same place as Felicity now. So it's like, oh, man.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I don't know that, right? Because it's like, at the end of this episode, like, yeah, he walked into the loft, but it was not clear that they were both going to stay there.
Okay.
So for me, it's like those little things. It's the time and the effort and the cooking for her. Like, when have we seen Ben ever cook for her? Mm-hmm. Did I miss that?
I mean, I think we've learned that it's not a good idea at the surprise party.
It doesn't work out well.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I feel like Ben in the kitchen has proven at least once to be a horrendous experience. And so I don't know if that's like a blessing for, like, oh, I cooked for you. Oh, should we get takeout?
Yeah. Well, you can't get takeout because you didn't get the right ribs.
See?
Yeah. I mean, he's a mess. Look, I'm not going to argue that. But I mean, so, do I think Noel is better for her than Ben at this point in time? I think so, because I think that Ben has a lot to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
And Noel he needs the right opportunities, but at least he knows what he wants to do and he's figuring out who he is and his own self-worth, maybe for half a second. And it'll all go away. But it's, I don't know. I was very touched by, in particular, the time capsule, and sort of his trying to say goodbye. And I just can't with the violence. I just can't.
Yeah.
So it may change again next season. I'm still not taking back my statement that the hottest scene of the entire series so far is Ben laying on the bed. Absolutely is.
Okay.
But that's where I am with the two of them.
Well, I support you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But of course, forever, let's remember, first and foremost, I'm Team Sean. Team Sean.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next question, shall we?
Yeah. So, Melissa, what did you think were the major achievements that Felicity had this season?
This was really easy to answer, seasons 1 and 2, but not that easy to answer for me in this season. I struggled with it. So let me start with this. Okay, so honorable mention would be giving Ben an Al-Anon pamphlet, which sounds like such a little thing to bring up, but I actually think your mileage may vary on how much she actually sticks to that level of intuitiveness about other people. That wasn't like the turning point where all of a sudden she's always cluing in, but it was an important moment that she needed to clue into eventually with him. And I think to be able to get to a point where she can really embrace the fact that she doesn't fully understand the situation, and that the people around her may need more support, and to be able to put that out there in that way, I think was something I know you had been wanting to see from her for a long time. And the fact that she wasn't doing it was showing like a lack of understanding and maybe even empathy, or even just real world education about kind of like the complexity of some of the issues her friends deal with. So I made that one an honorable mention, despite it being a quick moment in a scene, because I think it meant something a lot bigger. Another honorable mention for becoming the fastest painter on the biggest canvases on the planet.
Very nice. I mean,
wow.
But also, she finally paints something.
It's true. And it's on the biggest canvases ever. And it's all, I don't know what happened to those paintings. Where did they go?
No one knows.
Nobody knows. So there's that. Okay. So for my more serious answer, I guess I'll give her a couple of professional achievements here. She is now a professional artist. She has sold a painting or a picture. And
sketch.
And she's also, I don't know for sure if she and Noel are being paid, but Loser Pet Store is now a thing with Icebox. They got hired to do this. They were chosen over other candidates. And so she's had, for the career path that she's choosing, she's actually had some accomplishments. I feel like in season 1 and 2, I was able to point to these personal growth experiences that seemed significant to me. And I struggled to find that for this season. But those are a couple things that I felt like were a big deal for her. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but let's look at the reverse. What is the biggest Felicity fail?
So I don't think it'll come as a surprise, but bear with me through the explanation. Felicity's biggest fail, clearly, was renting to Molly. And I get that may sound just like I hate Molly, but it's not.
It does. That's fine.
It is emblematic of, she just has zero regard for self-preservation. She has rented to this girl, and now there are drugs in the apartment. And then she goes ahead and lets her drug selling boyfriend come and stay in the apartment. She's taking Ben back multiple times after he's being violent, and also taking off on her. So it's not just her physical safety, but it's her emotional safety. She never locks the freaking door, ever. She goes to the frat alone. It's just sort of this complete disregard for her own well-being and for those around her that I think just is really overall encapsulated in renting to Molly. And let's not forget, not only does Molly bring James into the picture, she also brought Avery in. Avery was Molly's friend, and that's why she was at the party.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like a lot of this could have been avoided by just not renting to Molly.
So your broader point is definitely taken here. And listeners, who here had on their bingo card that there was going to be some fish hatred of Molly on this season recap? You can't see it, but I am raising my hand. Yeah.
And for any of you playing a drinking game at this point, I hate Molly, so take a shot.
Yeah. It's great for all of us, really, that Molly is not a feature of season 4, because we need a new rant. But I think This has been, you've been consistent. If
Yeah.
nothing else, Fish, you have been consistent about your feelings about Molly.
Yeah. Um,
I wonder how many more times Molly stuff will come up for you.
I mean, she's around.
Yeah.
She's definitely around. Um, so that is definitely her largest fail. But in going back through my notes, I noticed this was a trend throughout the episode, and it wasn't just Felicity. It was also Ben. It was a lot of Ben, and like Noel was in there and just lying. Um, I mean, starting at like, hey, this apartment is great. Oh my God, look at all the bugs and the giant rat thing and what? Um, to like not telling him about Randy and Dr. Pavone's advice about that. And then, going ahead and having to tell him, not like initially telling Ben that his father kissed her and just like being super awkward, and Ben having to pull it like actually out of his father instead of her. Not telling Ben that she had no kissed. She keeps like saying she can take on everything and she can't. She lies to Julie's mom about her. I mean, there is so much lying going on in this season that it is. I just went back through my notes and I'm like, lie, 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 lie. Like everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
But Felicity is one of everybody. There is a lot of untruth being spread.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's get into the biggest shock or reveal of the season, shall we?
Yeah, this one this is my like largest category. I actually have a lot of things that shocked me about this season. So I don't know if you wanna go first if you have like a specific.
I have four, and these are in ranked order, top to bottom.
Okay.
Number one, Julie leaves.
Mm.
I have to admit, I am somewhat mystified and bewildered by the listeners' reactions to Julie. Like the community that we seem to be involved in appears to hate Julie. However, when I look at like number of downloads of our episodes, it goes down after Julie leaves. Like generally speaking, the episode 3 of this season where the Hello I Must Be Going, where Julie leaves, is like one of the top 2 most listens of this season. You could say that's because she is leaving, but then after that, I do feel like there's a little bit of a drop off, and I don't know if this is correlation or causation, but it's like I don't know. We say we hate her. I think I've perceived that as we hate to hate her, but I do wonder if we love to hate her sometimes. I don't know. I'm just so mystified by the reaction to Julie, and it wasn't very much on my radar before we started covering the show in the way that we're doing. So it's been interesting. But I think Julie leaving, that would have happened in terms of what the writers were trying to do with the show, if not for stuff that was happening in Amy Jo Johnson's life, right? So I think it's inherently a surprise. And I think that they worked with that pretty well. I think that sometimes an actor will need to leave a show and the writers can't seem to handle it or don't do something that makes sense in the scripts with it. But I do think how they did it here, they had a real mystery around her, and one that was piquing your interest for a while. And then it sort of, it escalated. And I don't know. It made sense to me what they did to get her off of the show, and it left room for her to come back. But it was surprising, and you saw the road that we like. If you saw that episode, you would be able to look back and be like, yeah, okay, they were building towards what could have been this, but I don't know that anybody had an expectation that she was going to leave, at least from the
Yeah.
audience.
I mean, when I think about Julie, I do think we have a lot of Felicity fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's been pretty constant hate for anyone who gets between the two of them.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that's probably part of it. Um, but also, she's a real downer. I
Yeah.
mean, just the plot lines that they gave her were downers, but everything around her, I think, was a lot funnier, right? Was a lot like more upbeat. And then once she left, it was kind of like now everybody has a downer plot. So
Mm.
that also might have led to people being not quite as
That's
interested.
interesting. Yeah, they sort of concentrated a lot of the heavy stuff around Julie's character, and then they had to sort of disseminate it after she left. So that is very true. Um, Number two on my list is, and you just mentioned it earlier, Ben's dad kissing Felicity. It's like,
Mm.
what the actual? Um, and the title of the episode was what, Kissing Mr. Covington, and
Yeah.
when you were guessing what was coming for that episode, initially you didn't guess that, and I was like, oh my god, this
No.
is going to be really upsetting for Fish.
Well,
And
I
then
think
right
what I
before
said
we
was I
watched
really
it,
hope it's not. Yeah, that's right. I waited.
it was right before we watched the second, like, so when you made your predictions from the episode before, you didn't have that on your bingo card, and then
Yeah.
but you guessed a lot of other things,
Yeah.
and then right before we watched it, you were just like, I really hope
Yeah.
that this has nothing to do with Ben's dad kissing her. I was like,
Yeah.
I apologize for what you're about to experience the next 45 minutes.
Yeah,
um
I couldn't even conceive that that would be the thing. But then I had a whole week to think about it, and I
yeah,
was just like, "Oh, don't be that. Don't
it's
be
very
that."
disturbing. It's just, there's no excuse. There are no excuses, Ben's
No,
dad.
correct.
Ah. I'm going to make it a little lighter here.
Yeah.
Number three, we have new credits.
Yeah,
Shock reveal.
that
Uh,
that was surprising.
yeah. Moving on. We don't even want to listen to them.
Nope.
This is my last one, but some might say that this is the biggest one, biggest shocker reveal of the season. The Colorado job falls through.
I have that too. Oh my God.
Not the Boulder job.
I was so upset. I mean, it like ruined my day.
Devastating. We
It
were
was.
hit. Everything was riding on it. Everything
I
for
Yeah,
hours and days and months.
years. Years.
Or the actual minute and a half they let that be a thing. I don't even know why they introduced it.
Because it was so important. So they could rip it out from underneath us.
It's like putting it in has brought us nothing but joy because we've just made so much fun of it. But actually, the best thing to do from a writing standpoint would be not to introduce it if you're going to introduce it that way. Just like tell us the episode before that he's considering a Boulder job, or never mention it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they were
Yeah.
trying to make it seem like these people are not asleep at the wheel of figuring out what they're going to do with their summer professionally. But how hysterical that
So upsetting.
Colorado job. Okay, so those are my four.
Okay.
Fish, what are your biggest shocks and reveals of the season?
So I have two, and then I have some runners up.
Okay.
So my two biggest shocks. First one did involve Julie, which is Julie decides not to give her dad a kidney and he dies. I was just like, oh, so that's how they're ending that. Well, okay.
That's brutal.
I mean,
Absolutely brutal.
It's like, really? All right. I guess after that, it made sense that she exited. But yeah, I was just like, okay. And And the other one that it was just really surprising and seemed very out of character is Felicity gets blackout drunk and plays strip ping pong with Randy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even if they didn't actually sleep together, which, I don't believe they did. That whole thing, it was just so not Felicity.
I just really disliked that episode, top
I
to bottom. Every
Yeah.
part of it, the B plots, everything. C
Yeah.
plot, D, like all of it.
I
And
mean, it wasn't a
how those
great,
ladies just left Felicity alone.
right?
Come on, folks.
Not
Be better
cool.
friends. Yeah.
Exactly. So then, yeah, I had a number of runner-ups that were just like, wait, what? So number one has to be that Ruby's baby is just like a baby. Like there's nothing special about her at all, and she plays no role in in the entire season. I mean, I had all kinds of things going on. I mean, Ninja Baby and like crashing the entire New York power grid baby, and I mean, but she's just
I
a
credit
baby.
myself with Fish
Yeah,
thinking catastrophically about Ruby's baby Eva
all
the
all
entire
season long.
season for 17 episodes. That was a gift to you, listeners. You're welcome.
Shock number two, Al's alive. I mean, who saw that coming?
I
Right?
did.
Of course you did. I didn't see it coming.
Al's a heartthrob and should be considered no less than that. If you had your like, in those in magazines when you had those inserts with the posters, that probably still
Like
exists.
Playgirl?
No, like any, like even teen magazines, they would have like inserts with you like your favorite boy band or something, and you could put it up on your wall as a poster.
Oh.
I
See,
wanted one of
again,
Al, but hey,
difference between Melissa and Fish here. I went Playgirl. She went
teen magazine.
teen band slash 80-year-old man.
Yeah.
All right. But hey, we have decided and established that he is alive and helped Richard to punish Noel.
Yeah.
So he's alive and kicking, still there.
Yay.
Third one, Noel is still married. Like what? Like it was clear they had the whole episodes about like impotence and getting annulled, and then all of a sudden, still married.
They really yada yada through that, didn't they?
They did.
And the thing is, like, I don't even
he wasn't.
know. Do you think you would have clocked that if I hadn't told you? Because season 4, I feel like he gets an inheritance check, which is why I remembered that he stays married. But it was sort of a throwaway line, I want to say.
They mentioned, when I went back in my notes, they did mention it at least twice.
Okay.
That he was, and I did write it down, that
they missed
he was
something.
Still married.
They
Yeah, because they definitely said he like wasn't married anymore, and then all of a sudden he was still married.
Yeah.
I was like, meh. It's like Schrodinger's marriage. I don't know.
It kind of is. I think that is something that it feels to me that if they were thinking about it enough to plant a couple lines in there, like, oh, Natalie's in Germany with like, like if they were thinking about it enough to plant those lines, even if you don't know that in season 4 you're going to have Noel actually get an inheritance check. I don't know, something was missing from the writers. It might have been just a scene. It might have been an episode where he had a B plot. I don't know.
I cannot explain it.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. And our last big shock, which took a really long time, not as long as Ruby's baby, but a really long time for us to figure out, it's Elena and Megan that are roommates.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah. Surprise. Also because I think they'd kill each other, but they don't. Probably because Megan's over at the loft all the time. but
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. That is, considering how much shifting there was in the like who was actually in the apartment.
Yeah.
Did Julie had her own room, which Felicity ended up moving into.
Yes.
Where was Molly?
I think
Was
she
there
had
just
her own
another?
room.
Yeah, there was her own room. So
Yeah.
then Megan and Elena were just always together. Okay.
I guess so, but like Molly spent a lot of time sitting on Megan's bed and like doing Elena's toenails and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, I guess you don't know how like it's tricky if you know that you've got somebody coming in from studying abroad and you've never met them. I guess it makes sense to give them their own room because you don't know them. Like
yeah, I
hopefully it
mean,
clicks, but
they could be like a crack addict and like need space to smoke their crack in a crack pipe. Remember what
yeah,
that looks like?
sort of.
And of course, my
Yeah.
last one was that Ben's job fell through in Colorado, but we've covered that
But
one.
obviously that was so big that I also mentioned it.
Yes.
It's funny that like we didn't have overlap on the other things
No, no
except for
overlap, but
that.
that one, that's the
Yeah, it
one.
was a big deal.
It was a
Yeah.
really big deal.
Well, I think we both acknowledged that this next category was a challenge for, or at least didn't have as much fodder for us as it has in the past. So, funniest thing that happened this season. Hmm.
So I have my funniest thing, and then this one just has like a bunch of runners up again, just like
Okay.
little moments, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so my funniest thing, I think, that I started laughing the most at was when Megan and Sean are having their couples counseling, and Dr. Zwick thinks that they are married, and Megan ends up having an eyeball on her ring finger.
Mm-hmm.
That was definitely my moment. I was just like, yeah, mhm, this seems right. All is right in the world, and loved it. Um, so quick honorable mentions. Richard dances with a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Elena kicks Richard in the head.
Okay.
Also amazing. Ben calls Megan from Southampton looking for Felicity, and we saw how that ended.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the seance for pickles.
Wow. Okay. We
Yeah,
had one overlap there. I have an overlap with one of your things in superlatives, but I had two. One of mine was Richard dancing with the tree, which just
amazing.
was something I've missed on every viewing of this show previously and caught it this time. And there was actually more than one shot of
Oh,
him dancing with the tree, which I found when I went back to get a
yeah.
still. So it's like they have the close-up shot and then they have a wide shot with him in the background dancing with the tree. So it's
Oh,
what a beautiful thing.
it really is.
So
It's
weird
just
and so on
amazing.
point with his character. Like how people even come up with this, I don't know. But my other moment was everything that happened in the christening, the first episode,
Mhm.
when things went totally awry in the apartment. At the point when the lamp catches fire,
Ah, yes.
and Ben runs out to get a fire extinguisher, and he's like, he comes running in, he's like, clear, clear, down, down, and then he sprays the fire extinguisher. And then when it goes out and he has to explain what's like, I think Javier's there and it's like, what's just, what's going on? He's like, it's just some fire and bugs. Fire and bugs.
Firebugs.
Just
It's my
those two
life
things.
now.
The clear, clear, down, down, and fire and bugs
Yeah.
are just wonderful moments of television for me. So I wanted to find something in the Noel existential crisis piece, but for me, those two things were like the top.
Yeah. And I didn't clarify at the time. The seance for pickles, the actual seance wasn't the funny part. It was the fact that when I heard it, I thought they were actually doing a seance for like pickles.
Dill, yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
that image will now stick with me forever. Like Ouija board, please tell me what my Vlasic classic pickle is thinking.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, don't we all want to know?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Shall we move on to our next question, Fish?
I think so. Melissa, who was your favorite minor character of the season?
Okay, so I listed on the side like a bunch of people, and then I decided I wanted this to be a mostly women segment for me this
Oh.
time because there were a lot of really strong female characters this season that came in as minor characters. So, of course, number one, and I don't feel this needs explanation, always number one in my heart, Pavone. But let's move on to the things you wouldn't expect me to say. So I've got the next three are sort of grouped together because I think they're all really interesting women characters that they brought in. First being Natalie. When we really sat with it, Natalie was pretty cool. Like, Natalie was fine.
Mhm.
There's no reason to call Natalie the devil. She is a free spirit. She has a different outlook on life. She was actually downright reasonable for her
She
background.
went she went to protest for Greenpeace. She,
Yeah,
she was always dressed in like amazing fashion. Plus, she loves Doritos.
that's the thing. Now, second on my list is Jane. And Jane,
Oh, wow.
though I apologize to you, Jane, for the horrific storyline they embedded your character in, what an interesting person. Like, the most fleshed out character we've had on this show. And that includes Felicity herself. They gave us such a wealth and they had to do it for the storyline she was in because Noel had to be stalking her and following her, and so he needed to find out all of her interests.
Mm-hmm.
But Jane had direction as a student, but she also had subjects she was passionate about. She had this whole background in, was it math? She was
It was something related to
integrated
math. It was like,
polynomials or something class that she was
yes.
taking. But then she was like, studying dance, and she had all these artistic interests, and she was well read, and she had friends. She had multiple friends that she was referencing throughout the show. She had a love interest other than Noel. She had like, I don't know, she had different types of cuisine she was interested in. She had hobbies. She did yoga. She was at the senior center. She was a really interesting person, and they kind of lucked into creating a character that great because of what they were trying to do with Noel. But when Jane stopped being on my screen, I wished I could have gotten to know her. I wish I could have gotten to know Jane in real life. So I just wanted to give some credit there because I thought that was really cool to see somebody with so little screen time be so have so much going on. And then
it's interesting because I actually really didn't like Jane. I felt like she was just distracted a lot of the time, and I think the way I described it was like that person who's like looking for somebody better to talk to, or she'd be on the phone and then she'd touch Noel's arm and like just not really, she wasn't really concentrating on, and that part turned me off. And then also with Noel saying and doing so many creepy and obvious things around her, it just made her seem dumb. And I just thought that was really unfortunate. So between kind of those traits of like just the distracted, I'm up in the clouds and I'm kind of dumb. I mean, it was great. She was interested in a lot of things, but I don't think I'd want to hang out with her.
I think the distracted piece, to me, the stuff that Jane had committed to, she was committed to, it seemed to me. Like, she was there and she was present. She hadn't committed to Noel. Noel was specifically trying to insert himself into her life. And initially, she thought they had nothing in common, and he was just the IT guy she was never going to see again. So the fact that she wasn't really paying attention to him, I think makes a lot of sense because she didn't think that was going anywhere.
But I
Um,
think that speaks to her character, that she doesn't treat people who are like helping her with her IT problems well. Like it's kind of like how you treat a server at a restaurant. Like
but
you make eye
then,
contact, you're nice to
yeah,
them, like you're a kind person. Like it just seemed like she kind of felt like maybe she was above it all.
I don't know. I guess I thought she was fine in those interactions where I would equate it differently is like it's one thing to be kind to your server in the restaurant, but then would you expect to keep seeing them repeatedly outside of the restaurant where they had served you? Um,
But Noel was sitting there fixing her computer, and she
mhm.
was like on her phone, like, you know, just not paying attention
Are you
to.
supposed to be over the shoulder of the person who's fixing your computer? I mean, I don't know.
No, but like I wouldn't be over their shoulder, but I would like say hi, make eye contact, and not like sit next to them and like put my arm on them while I'm talking on the phone to somebody else. And I don't know. It seemed like she wasn't all there when it came
Okay.
to her
Well, as you
effect
can
on
see,
Noel.
listeners, once again, Fish and I
Yeah.
disagree on this. And
I knew that at some
I
point.
just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Clicking to end an argument.
But as I
So,
was saying about Jane, no, I'm kidding.
mhm. um, one more serious one, which is Avery. I mean,
Wow.
really
She made your
interesting.
favorite
I mean,
list.
I guess there's a lot of ways to look at favorite, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's really interesting. And she gave us a lot to talk about. And she was very, I don't even know if polarizing is the right word for people had a lot to say about Avery. And
Triggering.
I feel like that is the sign of a character that's doing what the character is supposed to do, you know? I mean,
Mhm.
we weren't bored by her. We were invested in what was happening in reaction to her. So I think that that the people, the three women that I just named are like so different,
Mm.
but I just liked that they all had a presence on the show. And of course, I have to add one more. Not a woman, but I had to add him. Valve E.
Melv E.
Howard.
Howard. He's my favorite minor character of the season.
But
Yes.
talk me through
Just
it,
one.
Fish. Just talk me through it. I mean, Valve E. Howard. Come on,
Yeah. I mean, he
best
should be
Valve of all
under,
Valves.
of course. Um, like he definitely, because of us, really you, should be under like funniest thing that happened this season. It wasn't supposed to be funny maybe in the actual show,
Mm-mm.
but he brought so much joy
He was
to
the
you.
biggest Valve in the world.
Right, and continues to bring so much joy to you that there's just no way. I only have two favorite minor characters. One's a runner up. Valvey Howard is my number one favorite minor character of the whole season. I will just never forget our discussion of Valvey
Never
Howard.
forget
Never,
Valvey Howard.
never forget. No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
he's it. He's it for me. Uh, that's it. Valvey Howard.
Okay. But who was your, did you say your runner up?
I did have one runner up who's DeForest, because who doesn't love Keenan? And I was so sad that he was, down on himself, but also loved karaoke, loved that he, I don't know, just opened his heart to Elena so she could stomp on it. But still, he tried. And I don't know. I just he is Eeyore, but he's like a lovable, just want to like hug him and like cuddle with him forever. Eeyore.
Okay.
So I hope that DeForest finds himself a good woman who loves him for who he is, and look, go forth and be happy, DeForest.
Okay. I hear you. I hear you on that, Fish. Well, let's move into superlatives. I, of course, am going to do the 5 best, and Fish is going to do the 5 worst. Fish, who do you want to start this one?
I think we have to start with the best, right?
Okay. All right. So, initially when we conceived of this one, it was Melissa, 5 best, Fish, 5 worst. And we've never honored that ever. And I'm not going to start now. So,
I did.
Okay, good for you. Good for you.
I know, right?
Like, I had a slightly longer list and I culled it down to 4, 5, 6, 8.
Okay.
That's not too egregious.
It's not.
So I've got, this isn't really in any particular order. So most mature character moment. Tracy supports Elena around the McGrath situation, despite the fact that she just cheated on him with Finn and he knows about it.
Yeah.
I was pretty blown away by that. I think, that's where we kind of talked about this idea of being able to put something on the shelf to be there in a moment of need. Mm-hmm. And Tracy definitely exhibited that there, even though we now know that it's pretty much a season-long issue for Tracy that he's trying to grapple with, the Finn thing. And and then the sex thing, and it's like, it's so complicated between them. And I think the Finn issue really highlighted an underlying issue. And yet there he was, ready to give Elena a talk of encouragement when Elena got named on that list of people McGrath might have been with. Mm-hmm. So there's that. I've got some sort of scene work, cinematography, camera work, a few different things here. So the first one, I have to mention this, the Molly and James scene, where they're breaking up, where Macy Gray, specifically the version with Macy Gray singing Still, was just such a beautifully done scene, creatively conceived, putting Ben across the street and having the camera look through oncoming traffic that was passing. And it's a little hard for us to see what's happening, just like it's hard for him. The choice to make us not hear any of their dialogue and just see their body language really resonated for me. So
absolutely 100% agree with that one.
Yeah, I loved that. And you made a point when we started this that, there was a lot more dramatic work in this season. And I think the fact that I've got 3 in a row superlatives like this goes to show you that. So I put most haunting scene. Avery dies in the ambulance, and just the camera work there, the way that we get a tight shot of her face dead as they're shocking her.
Her eyes and like the pallor of her face on that like tight shot as her body like arches is definitely a scene I will remember.
Yeah. And I also added one for, I'm going to say best camera work in the whole episode of Blackout, which isn't an episode that I really thought I would be remarking on in this way. But when I looked back at it, and it was a nightmare for our notes because they were just, the camera never stopped moving. It was like tracking one person, and then it would track the other person in the scene. And then you keep following the lever out of the scene into the next interaction they had. And they just haven't tried to do that kind of thing very much on this show. So it came off as, I think because the episode is a little bottle episode-y anyway, not exactly, but a little bit, it really worked to play with a different style. And they just did some cool stuff there. So
yeah,
so I loved
like that one too.
Yeah. So I've got 4 more. And this is one you mentioned earlier in a different section. Best, I don't know whether to classify this as best chemistry or best telling off of a person. Megan telling Ben off over the phone in the breakup kit. He calls her, all he wants to know is if Felicity's there. Felicity is not there, but Megan doesn't tell him that and spends at least a minute to a minute and a half berating him with Ben continually interjecting, is she there?
Yep.
And then finally she gets it all out of her system and he's like, Megan, is Felicity there? She's like, no. And she just and I love that they then cut to Ben and he's just like rubbing his hair really vigorously, frustrated.
It's like it's a very vigorous forehead rub and his whole face is just like scrunched. Like, I knew she was doing this to me and yet I stayed on the phone.
I'm such a sucker. I think they have such great chemistry, those two actors.
They do.
They don't give us a lot of scenes between them, but when they do,
hilarious.
It's so great. I remember, what was it? The scene where he was trying to figure out where Felicity was and she was with Greg, maybe? And yeah, Megan comes to the door and I don't know, that whole bit. They don't get a lot of stuff, but the stuff they get, it's going to be solid gold.
Yeah. They figured out their dynamic early and it's just been paying off.
Best beef stew. Aunt Eunice's beef stew.
Best and only.
Best and only. Best way to end an argument.
Plugging.
And last, but definitely not least, best theory other than relativity. Money always works itself out.
Oh, yes. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I had to get in there somehow. That whole Richard bit in the anti-Natalie intervention episode. Loved it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I might just mention this. This was left off of my list, but I just really enjoyed. This isn't a superlative per se, but at the point in that same episode where Richard is like, visceral means feeling. I just feel like there was some writer in that room who was just like, I have had this conversation too many times, and I'm putting this in dialogue so I can maybe make it less prevalent. Visceral means feeling. Like, it just is so like a writer on their last nerve.
Yeah.
I just loved it.
Those repressed English majors that end up on TV writing. Brilliant. Brilliant life choice.
Oh man. Well, Fish, what are your worst?
Yes. So I only have 5, although last time I stole a best because I was the optimist once. Okay. This time I'm stealing a best just cuz.
Okay.
So, worst abuse of power. Dean Allison telling Elena that Peter is a friend in his office.
Ew.
Right.
Dean Allison. We were sick of it.
We're done. We're done with you, Dean Allison. Don't show your face again.
Yeah.
Worst couples exercise. I love my partner, but. Bad idea. Bad idea. Dr. Zwick, come on. Send Sean out of the room crying. Not good. Not good.
I hear ya.
Most manipulative. Avery. Worst music. The new opening theme song, which I only listened to once and is still stuck in my head. So, yeah. It lives rent-free in my brain and probably will forever. Hate it.
Can't you become a new version of you?
No. I don't want to. And then the worst is Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You knew it was coming.
I did.
Yeah.
I didn't, but I did. Come on, listen to all of us. Yeah.
Everyone knew. Take another shot. And I'm stealing a best. So the best shape of mac and cheese is loaf.
Oh, come on!
And that's why it's still a worst. Because it's still a Cynic thing, but I used a best to make Melissa upset.
I have literally never, ever in my life encountered loaf mac and cheese. Okay?
Bark, 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 bark.
Well, Fish, we have added a section. Well, we added it last time.
Yeah.
Fish's quick take on fashion.
Yes. Last time may have gone a little overboard. So this is going to be a quick take on fashion as opposed to the comprehensive, extensive take on fashion.
Fish, you did some serious investigative journalism last time, and we appreciate you and all your work.
It was a lot. All right. So best outfit. We have a tie here. Have to mention it. Sean in Assless Chaps. Amazing. Leather Daddy Sean is the best Sean.
Some of us might have seen it as Cop Sean.
They would be incorrect. Assless Chaps and Cops, unless it is somehow a weird stripper thing. No, that's not a thing. Although I would watch that show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Instead of Cops, it's Assless Chaps and Cops. And the second is Felicity in the silver top from the Christmas party.
Yes.
I mean, that was like a red dress moment for me. I mean, that was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Was it? It was just a top, right? It wasn't a
It was just a top,
yeah.
But it was still freaking amazing.
Yeah.
So best accessories, Megan's earrings, especially the Queen of Hearts playing cards and the babies. And I noticed when I went back through my notes, she wore each of them at least 2 or 3 times. Like I noticed and wrote down.
Mm-hmm.
So these were just, I mean, precious. I mean, who has just like naked babies, like 1.5 inch tall naked babies?
I don't.
Their ears.
Yeah. Okay.
Loved it. I loved it.
Right.
Worst dressed, like without a doubt, Leon. No. I mean, man has not showered ever since becoming Leon. So he just had so many buttons that were not used. So many buttons that weren't used. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Leon. And best dressed, I have to give it to her. Avery. She was always dressed. That there was not one outfit that she wore, maybe besides the like hospital gown, that I didn't absolutely like love and took my breath away.
Wow.
I know.
Avery continues to be controversial. There you have it.
Yeah.
Fish's quick take on fashion.
Dun, dun, dun.
Ba-ba-da-ba-bum. Yes. Well, let's get into our average ratings for the season. Now, obviously, we've got a couple seasons behind us now, so there'll be some comparisons to be done. But first, let's talk about, Fish, your average ratings and mine, and then we can talk about combined, and then we can compare it to previous seasons. So there's going to be a lot of numbers and math, but the good news is there's not going to be as many numbers and math as there was the first season when we tried to do this, and there was like wonky ratings. So I've calculated this 2 different ways. Like we've done average with all scores, and then we've dropped high and low and looked at the average just to see what kind of compares there. So Fish, your averages for season 3, if we just do all episode scores, you had 6.59 out of 10 glubs.
Well, that's definitely the lowest.
It is season 2, you were up at 7.67. Season 1, you were up at 7.27. If we drop the high and low, you're at 6.73 out of 10 glubs. So it goes a little higher.
Not much, but yeah.
But the previous seasons were in the 7 range for both of those things. And then for me, if I factor in every score, this was a 7.35 out of 10 for me compared to 7.59 and 7.79 in the last 2 seasons. If I do dropping high and low, it goes up a little bit. So 7.5 out of 10. What's, you might ask? 7.5 out of 10.
Yay.
Living room bathtubs, unmediated plates, bubbles and squeaks, Jell-O shots, books about ribs, first kisses, princes of darkness,
yes,
Aboriginal dances, assless pants,
yay,
Mr. Octobers,
also yay,
Paul Conrad's,
yes.
courtside seats, unwatched documentaries, Eunice Crane's beef stews, poor suckers, giant valves,
Being Howard,
EMT programs.
Wow, that was a very comprehensive list of amazing things that happened this season.
It really takes you on a journey. You can really place some of these things with the episode they were in. So, okay, let's look at our combined average. So if we don't drop high and low, we had this at a 6.97 out of 10 this season. If we do drop high and low, it does climb over the 7 mark at 7.12 out of 10. Okay. Comparatively, season 1, we were at 7.39 and 7. No, we were at 7.585. We just had the combined average one way with that. With season 2, it was 7.63 and 7.78 respectively. So we were up over 7.5 last season. And this one, we were just hovering around the 7 mark. So I would say this did drop for us. Not maybe as much as I might have thought. I don't know. I think we were kind of consistent.
Well, I think yours, it was like, what, 7.7, 7.5, 7.3? Whereas mine was like 7.2, 7.5, 6.5. So clearly season 3 dropped off big time for me. And
well, the thing is, you had 2 episodes that you rated at a 1.
Yeah. So
even if I dropped one of the ones, that other one is going to drag you way, way down. So yeah, we both had a 10 in this season though, which is cool.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is, if they didn't want their rating drop, they shouldn't have created those 2 crap episodes.
Guess not, huh?
So that's
my goodness.
That's my view.
I mean, to be fair, the one where we rated it Aboriginal, or where I rated it in Aboriginal dances, you had a 1 and I had a 2.5. So that was a dark day for us.
Yeah. I remember there was one that we agreed on. We were just like, oh,
this is rough. Yeah.
Was that a good egg?
That was probably a good egg.
Yeah. I was going to put worst episode, a good egg. And then I was like, I don't remember what I rated it, but it couldn't have been good.
That might be the worst episode we ever have in terms of our average rating.
I think so, because if we just went with your ratings, then it would be obviously whatever for
Love Lauren. Yeah.
For Love Lauren. But I brought that one way up.
Yeah, you had a much higher rating. I don't know if we'll ever get as low as that ever again. So listen, folks, okay, writers, we've made a statement about a good egg, and that's how it is. It's how it's going to be. Okie doke. Yeah. So that's our average ratings. That's a little bit of math for today. But you know what, Fish? I think it's time for us to share audience feedback.
Yes.
Because, after you listen to this tape, you have to erase it.
Yep.
We've got a smattering. I'll start with a simple comment here, or a short comment, I should say, from uh, hold on a minute. Joey Potter jibes pantalones. Okay. I think that's
I
what that was
love
supposed
it.
to say.
Love it.
Uh, who writes Dr. Pavone, a queen. I've
Oh,
always loved Aquino, but especially in this role.
yep.
Fair enough.
We agree.
Um, I mean, what else does there to say? I mean, this woman changes the course of things when she enters the screen. She often redirects Felicity completely and changes the whole trajectory of where the show is about to go in a positive way. So thank you to Pavone. Let's go back to Leon here for a minute, shall we?
Yeah. Let's revisit him.
So at Insta.Mickey says, Leon and his leather pants.
Mm-hmm.
Loved him with Natalie, but maybe this path was a little self-destructive. So not like Noel to drop college. So he went back to his old ways in the end. It was good to see a different side of his character. And for him, it was a good lesson learned.
I believe the pants were pleather.
Ooh.
From
Oh.
from reviewing my notes, I believe Javier makes a comment, which is it's even more unfortunate, really. Um, as I said, we're stressed, Leon.
Yeah, there you have it. You'll always be my first husband, Leon. Oh God. Love that. Okay. Well, Fish, I just wanted to throw you a bone here with Molly. So at Disneyland says, I did not care for Molly or James.
Thank you. Thank you, at Disneyland. I also did not care for Molly.
At Galinsky underscore regarding Jane's interests. I think she's a manic pixie dream girl set up for Noel to fawn over. But in this case, she's not there to make Noel look or feel great, but actually to make him dig a hole, a very big, morally duplicitous hole.
I love I love that a hole was just described as morally duplicitous.
Feels right.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hadn't thought of
I love it.
so manic pixie dream girl is a trope. It's a trope often referred to in movies, particularly because TV shows sort of give you more time to flesh out a character. Um, but manic pixie dream girl, like I guess some people would describe like Kate Winslet's character in Eternal Sunshine as that, or I don't know, just like
I mean, it's Tyra Banks.
yeah,
So like you're more than halfway there just putting
yeah,
her on camera.
yeah. So it's interesting because I guess like that would lead me to believe that Galinsky underscore thinks the opposite of the way that I do about Jane.
That makes two of
Um,
us.
but that they just sort of flesh these things out about her enough that it's about Noel, and I do agree with that, but I think but what they tell her of us makes me think she's got a lot of interests and has a full character. We're just not getting more of it than is relevant to the story. So like I kind of think about her the same way I think about Pam.
Yeah,
They
we
told
love
us a
her.
lot about Pam for the little bit of time that we had with her. I think they told us more about Jane,
Mm-hmm.
but they told us a lot about Pam, and they made her this really interesting person who was very different than all the other characters we saw on the show, and she's a unique figure in this world when she meets Ben. And she was the kind of person that I wanted to know more about, but they didn't give us more about her, but I would have been happy to have it.
I think that's a criticism that I kind of think, I don't know, has followed multiple female characters. Like, yes, you have those two, but you also have Megan, right? Where it's like she doesn't get as much screen time and big plots as Sean. I mean, now we do have the main character being Felicity, so you could argue that like Ben and Noel are just sort of not as fleshed out as Felicity. I don't know if that's entirely true.
I mean,
But
I
I
guess I think of it as sort of like the reverse with Megan, Julie, and Elena. Um, I would say that like it makes sense. I think that the writers went well out of their way to give us a lot of information about characters like Pam and Jane. And so they weren't in a lot of episodes. They didn't have a lot of screen time, but they told us a ton about them and they made them these almost full, complete people for us. But then you get characters like Megan, Julie, and Elena who are heavily underutilized in this show. And I think Megan, like, kind of criminally never gets her own storylines after season one. You could argue the same thing for season one itself. Elena and Julie do, but there are long periods where they don't know what to do with those people. And so, like, you can absolutely mention, like, oh, yeah, here are some major storylines they've had. And between those storylines, it's a nothing burger. So it's, I don't know. I don't know what that says. I feel like they needed more balance in the writer's room.
Yeah. I mean, they were focused in on the main three, I guess,
They
in their
were,
minds.
they were. And I don't know, in a way, in some ways, I almost feel like Ruby was a more fleshed out character than, like, more consistently fleshed out than like an Elena or a Julie, because
Really?
they never sort of dropped off. It was consistent. Like the amount they told us about Ruby, they kind of kept it there
Yeah, but I
until
also
she
feel
left.
like she was pretty blah for most of it. So, like, while she was on screen, it wasn't like, you know, she doesn't have we don't get to meet her parents, right? And I don't know. I just didn't
We
find
don't get
Ruby
to meet
particularly
them,
interesting.
but she keeps talking about them. I mean, interesting is a different thing. Um, but giving us a picture of her as a person, like, you know, that you don't see her parents, but you know that they're there. You kind of get a sense of their dynamic. She talks about what it was like to tell them she was pregnant. You feel when she comes back in the season finale that there's a level of support there from her parents in her family unit now. um she talks about, she tells her story of like the windmills and her interest in art history. They name some classes she's taking.
But I just think
So
it's easier to flesh out somebody who's not as interesting. Because, like, were you to flesh out Megan, I just feel, I mean, even in the little stories that she drops, it's like, I had this guy and he was obsessed with me and then he went insane. And it's like, if you were to actually like figure out why Megan is Megan and like consistently bring her across all the seasons, it would just be harder, and it
but
would
the
take more
thing
time.
but I think the reason why that's frustrating for me with Megan in particular is that she isn't the same. She changes as a character quite a lot from season one to season four. And one of the things, and it's not a spoiler-free podcast, one of the things that they'll sort of show us a glimpse into in season four is that her relationship with her parents is extremely different. Like if you remember back to season one, they were almost like Stepford, like I don't know. It was this bizarre, like she's wearing florals and she's not herself, and
Hmm.
they're going to museums and they're very, they're rich and fancy and stodgy, and I don't know, like there's just like almost a creepiness about them.
Well, her
And
father's a
then
vampire.
yeah.
I mean,
I don't see how you can do that. Remember that one, guys? Yeah. You just got rewarded for listening to this podcast for years. Um, so, like, when we see these little glimpses of them in season 4, she has a very different relationship. She's much more herself. She's maybe entirely herself with them. And to me, that's really interesting. How did she get from one place to the other? And that was there. They put the seeds of that in the show and didn't develop any of it. And I think, you know, there is probably other stuff that you could look at like that too, you know, where they are giving you these hints of things that are happening, but not actually talking about her storyline.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I think she
is
should.
she going to become a teacher? You know,
Yeah,
like they opened that up. Where could that go? And they just didn't.
absolutely wanted to see that. And like, what about Chris and the relationship with Sean afterward? Like there were plenty, like I agree that they should have fleshed these characters out more. I think it would have taken more screen time than someone like a Ruby. But that's not to say that they shouldn't have done it. Like I think Elena and I mean I feel like Julie they fleshed out pretty well.
Mhm.
She's sad, and that's Julie.
Yeah.
Um, but Elena and Megan in particular don't get a lot. And we also don't get, I personally think we don't get enough of Richard. I feel like I would like to know where he came from. I want to meet Richard's parents. I want to see what created President Code.
Like a graduation of Richard episode where you see the family dinner table with Richard's parents and his 6 brothers and sisters because he's number 4, right smack in the middle.
Yes. I
Yeah.
want the whole brood, and I don't know. I want to see it. I want to see how it happened. I want to see how he interacts with them. I want to see all of them ignore him, which is why he craves attention from Noel so much. Um, yeah, I want it.
Okay.
More Richard.
Spinoff. All right, that seems fair. Let's move on to our next comment, which is a Richard themed comment, and I thought
Huh,
just it's a
yeah.
short comment, but one that I felt needed to be brought in. At Heather Adam O'Brien noticed for the first time as well the Richard dancing with the tree, and to all good night. It says, "This is amazing. I missed it. Now I need to watch it again."
Which is exactly what we did. I don't know. It just stuck out to me as if it was the first time watching it. I was just like, this moment, this one. It's fantastic.
Yeah. We also have, so at Jekazip has done the good hard work of really the investigative work that we should have been doing but didn't, and we left it for the audience to do. Jekazip did it with 3 different things. Well, really 2 different things. But I'm going to put all of these as separate comments because they all deserve their time in the sun. First of all, at Jekazip says, the new theme song is horrible, but it was co-written by JJ and Andrew Jarecki of The Jinx, The Life and Deaths of Robert Durst fame. I believe the song is sung by Andrew, too. I miss the black and white photos and the eerily beautiful song with no lyrics that's really seemed to fit Felicity before the network basically forced them to add more colors, more group scenes, and a catchier theme song.
Certainly is catchier.
Yeah, it seems fair. I hear you. Hear you on that. I don't know. We haven't had a lot of people say they love the new theme song, so I don't know. Maybe it's a small sample size we're getting, but you're in good company at Check Is It. Now for the questions that tortured us regarding how Ben knew what frat to go to.
Mm-hmm.
The name of the fraternity is at the bottom of the picture that was in the email sent out to everyone. So that's how Ben knew where to go. At the top of the picture, it says, who knows how to party? But at the bottom, it says, go beta theta xi.
Yeah. Question answered.
Yeah. And in such a way where I feel like, how did I not see this? Oops.
Yes. Question answered and successfully made hosts feel dumb. Good job.
I'm so great. But it is also really fun if you ignore the accuracy of Jekka Zip's answer and you imagine what we were imagining of Ben just like
Going to
walking up and
every
down the
fraternity.
street, just being like, "Do you know my girlfriend?" And like pointing at the picture. Did you guys take this? No? Okay. All right. And just, canvassing.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
Also funny, but yeah, we should have noticed that. I mean, we noticed Richard with the tree. We can't notice everything.
Well, thank God for Jekka Zip is all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Thank
And we
goodness.
got this one is huge.
Oh,
At Jekka Zip, I have no idea how you found this, and this is going to be hard to communicate through podcast. So we will also need to drop a link to this in our show notes and probably on Instagram. Remember everybody in the christening when Ben gets the ridiculous looking TV.
yeah.
And
What
Fish
was
and I
that?
spent, what was it, an hour and a half trying to figure out if it was a TV sitting atop a dishwasher
Yes.
or a laundry
A washing machine.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. We were like, what is this
What
thing?
is
this
happening here?
real? So, okay, this is only going to come across halfway spoken, but I just want you all to know that at Jekka Zip spent, I don't even know how she found this. She says, "Hi, ladies. This is super random, but I figured you would appreciate it. I was doing some Felicity-related Googling, and I ended up doing a sort of deep dive to try to figure out the TV that Ben buys in episode 1 for their apartment with the living room bathtub. Well, lo and behold, I found the Sony KP5010 at this website, which we will put in the show notes. And I'm pretty sure it's one and the same as the one Ben buys." Okay, guys, when you look up the Sony KP 5010, it is the TV. I don't understand how when Jekka Zip says sort of deep dive, I think it's an understatement. Let's call a spade here.
Yeah.
All right.
Scuba diving.
This is I don't even know where you begin to try to find TV featured in Felicity episode 1, season 3. It is, I think it was called the first rear projection TV.
Oh my gosh.
And the reason it's so weird is that it's projecting onto itself.
What?
Absolutely crazy. So
Ben 100% found this on the side of the road and just brought it in, and that's where the mega rat came from.
I guess my question is how did the set designers find this?
On the side of the road.
I suppose.
No, someone probably had it somewhere, or it was donated to some kind of school production, and one of them saw it and was like, "That's the TV."
Wow. I think we all just need to give an award to at Jekka Zip. I am gonna make sure that we get this link out there so that you can all see the fantastic work that's been done. But if in the absence of that, if you're just listening to this, and maybe you can look up pictures of the Sony KP5010 and just it takes you right back.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to give an award to at Jekka Zip. It is for the most prolific and detailed Felicity researcher, as well as the best looking and also best personality.
Wow.
All the things.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's the kind of rewards you all get when you do research.
Uh-huh.
Just remember that.
Gold star for them.
I have to say, there have been some listeners for the past seasons that really brought to light some really cool information for us. Getting the actual contemptuous, sardonic website link was a super fun find. I don't know.
And there was something about Ukrainian versus Serbian or whatever chocolates.
Yeah. Estonian.
Estonian. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah. It's,
We love it.
At this point in the when you're this much of a Felicity fan, there's some deep diving we can do, and we're doing it. We're doing the work here in this
I mean,
group.
not actually us, but
Not us.
you were doing the work. You
We
get the
ask
credit
you
for
to do
this.
the work, and then sometimes you guys do it, and it's amazing. It's awesome.
It's just mind-blowing.
I feel my whole world is a better place now, having learned about the Sony KP 5010.
Yeah.
This is
it is.
This is it for me.
Yeah.
So that caps off our audience feedback for season 3.
That was amazing.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. We heart you.
We do.
Big time.
Yeah.
Well, Fish, this may be our favorite segment after that. I mean, like, this is always wild. So we're into the Fish's predictions segment. And I think the first thing we need to do, it would be fun for all of us, I'm sure, to listen back to what you had predicted for this season.
Yes.
At the end of last season, and just see how that lined up before we talk about season 4.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I did not get much right. Okay. But I also did paint myself into a bit of a corner by making them very specific.
Yeah.
And I have not made that same mistake this time. Okay. All right, so my first prediction, co-presidents Richard Code and Carol Manning will ban all chalking on campus after students take to the sidewalks to aggressively and colorfully demand their free pizzas on Fridays. Also, no one will ever get free pizza.
Wow, you got every single piece of that wrong.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seemed like actually people did get free pizza.
Sure did.
I mean, Molly comments on it. Mm-hmm. I mean, yet again, I'm stymied by Molly. I'm just saying.
Okay.
So it seems like that was 100% incorrect.
Right.
Number 2, Ben will become a kid's basketball coach. Felicity will find it super sexy, and I will stick a fork in my eye. Only 1/3 of that came true.
The fork part?
Yeah. Okay. And why?
Molly?
Yep. So I feel like I get 1/3 of a point for that.
Like, guys, listeners, like, you might be thinking, Melissa, you know Fish really well, but face it, you also were able to answer those questions in real time. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah. Number 3, we will continue to hear the unnamed Felicity theme music from episode 13 and will continue to hate it every time. I actually never noticed it this season. So
I didn't either.
Like,
I know it comes up again in season 4.
Okay.
But I think you're right. I don't think we heard it this season.
Yeah. Did not get that. Yeah. I mean, the times that Melissa sings it, I continue to hate it. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't actually it wasn't in the show or I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
4, Ben and Felicity will break up at least twice. That doesn't happen, right?
Well, what do you classify the Randy situation as? Is that a breakup? That's a possible.
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't like...
And then the Avery stuff?
I mean, the Avery stuff, I think, was a like mini breakup.
I'm going to give you half a point for this one because I think you could make an argument that there was an actual break. Well, I don't know.
For Randy?
Half a point. Shall we? That's not a fail. That's not a...
It's not a complete fail.
Yeah.
Like all the other ones. All right. So then I was given a little heads up on this one. So Noel will grow far too much facial hair and start referring to himself in the third person as Leon. Uh-huh. His friends will have him committed.
You had it all the way until the end there.
Right. But there was an intervention. I feel like they didn't have him committed, but there was an intervention.
Those are different things. but uh, you know, I think it gets partial credit, right? Because, the whole beginning of that was right.
Yeah. As I said, very specific.
I mean, you took the hard way out here because
Yes.
you knew the part where you had been spoiled on, and you could have just left it there, but
No,
you
that's
overachieved.
not the way I go.
Yeah.
Um, this one I got 100% right.
Okay.
Assless chaps will go up for me like a notch.
Yeah.
Done. This one, if I just changed one word, I would have gotten 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
While giving a kidney to her father, Julie will die. That is not what happened.
Which word do you want to change to make that right?
Okay, I need two words.
Yeah.
While not giving a kidney to her father,
He will die.
he will die.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, two words.
I was running the numbers. I was like, wait.
Yep. We need one more.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one.
Oh, wait. Well, say it
No,
again, then, what you had.
I got that wrong. While giving a kidney to her father, Julie will die. No, I did not get that correct. No part of that was correct.
No, but I think, okay, we knew at the end of season 2 that her dad was sick, that he needed a kidney. Okay.
Yeah, because one of my the biggest shock from last season for me was Julie's mom wants her kidneys.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you had information and you came to a conclusion. It's fine.
Yeah. Felicity will finally paint something.
Sure did.
Got that right.
Yep.
On the largest canvases ever.
All of them. Every single one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I went real deep with this one and it did not pay off. So, Tracy and Elena will take a tantric sex course. Their ongoing competition pushes Tracy to finish first every time, which ultimately leads to the downfall of their relationship. Everything about that is incorrect.
Yeah,
they actually had sex. And that is what, in addition to Elena not ever listening to him, led to the downfall of their relationship.
Okay. Good effort,
if it is over. I mean, now there's a ring, so just like 100% wrong.
Okay.
And number 10, we will continue to be adorable.
Yeah.
I feel like I got that one.
That was guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's a safe prediction, I think.
Let's see. That gives me 1, 2, 3, 4 1/3 points.
Okay. Well done.
Out of 10.
Yeah. Not bad.
No, it's bad, but it's okay.
Yeah. Do you really want to be able to predict everything that's going to happen in a show? Not necessarily.
It's true.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I've gotten a lot more spoilers for season 4. Okay. Just, so I feel, and I also took the conservative route. So yeah, I feel like I'm gonna get more of these right.
Okay.
All right. First one. Ben will study a lot.
Okay.
Think that has been established. 2, this is my personal opinion. I can't imagine it's going to be any other way, but Tracy and Elena's engagement will be a train wreck. Okay. I just can't imagine this going well. Yeah. 3, this part of me just hopes for this, for him. Richard gets a girlfriend. I hope at some point someone loves him. Aww. Besides a tree. 4, every main character will at some point say, "Can I talk to you for a second?" Yeah.
That feels like it's got to happen.
It's got to. Yeah. All right. This is a big one. I'm going out on a ledge here. But I think Megan and Sean are going to get married. I don't think Tracy and Elena are going to be the ones to get married. Because I feel like in every show you have to have that couple that like really does get married. And it seems like the two of them, I don't know. I feel like they're going to make it.
Okay.
I mean, Megan will probably make Sean feel really bad the whole time, but I feel like I'm going to put that out there into the world.
All right.
The documentary will take off and make Sean a multimillionaire. Just kidding. That's not going to happen.
So you're
It's
saying,
no, it's not going to happen.
okay.
Yeah. Nothing will ever happen with the documentary.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Bold move.
Kind of hoping that season 4 is not half documentary again. Because, I mean, as much as I like it sometimes, I'm like, it's old now. It's old.
All right.
7. Noel will continue to be the loser guy friend and will end up working at Dean and DeLuca's.
Wow.
I mean, Javier did offer him the job and he now does not have a job.
That's very true.
Sad. And we know he can't leave the show because he's like a third of the main characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This one I got a little spoiled on, so I know at least part of it's right. Felicity will fall into a deep depression, but Noel will help her out of it, and she will be fine by graduation.
Okay.
I'm like 99.9% sure that this one will happen. There will be time travel, and it will cause Melissa to throw a highlighter.
Okay.
Yeah. And 10, as always, we will continue to be adorable.
Yeah. We're going to do our darndest.
Yes,
wow. Well, I appreciate that you stayed a little less specific with this one because when I heard you make your predictions last time, I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
I specifically remember having that reaction with the Leon one because I was like, oh man, you almost had this. Yeah. Well, all right, guys, that's what we think we might be looking for in season 4.
Yeah. Note the lack of prediction in season 3 having anything to do with Ruby and her baby. Because Melissa didn't tell me about it until like the first or second episode.
And then every single episode you predicted something that was not at all
not gonna happen until the last episode. And
I wonder if I could find something else to do that with. We'll see. I mean,
no, I'm not gonna fall for it again. I'm not gonna fall for it again.
Fair enough. I find it interesting you didn't try to make any predictions around Lauren.
I know. I thought about it and then I was like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
All I know is I could have predicted someone named Lauren will show up.
Yeah.
But I don't, you said the plot was useless. And so I was like, I don't really know anything that would fit because it's useless. I don't know.
Yeah. She's in so much and I so am against it. It's fine. Okay. Whatever. We'll get there, won't we, when we hit season 4. And let's break that down because as you all know, we usually take a little break between seasons just because look, I mean, the amount of coverage we do, we talk for hours upon hours upon hours of 40-minute episodes. So here's the plan. So we always drop our episodes on like Thursday early morning. We're going to miss 2 Thursdays. However you want to count that. There is some argument between me and Fish, whether that's 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Yep.
So to be clear, there are going to be 2 Thursdays where you're not going to hear from us on a new podcast. And then we will be back for season 4. We'll dive right into the first episode. of season 4 on the way back, which, you know what? I don't have that in front of me. So let me pull up the name of season 4. And I will filibuster here because I think I said it maybe at the end of our episode 17 podcast. And I didn't ask you for any predictions there. So the title of season 4, episode 1 is The Declaration. That's where we're going to pick up again with this. I don't know if you have any thoughts on what we might cover there.
I mean, I feel like Noel has already declared his love. So, I mean, that would have been my go-to. The Declaration. I mean, I figure whatever is happening over the summer, there has to be some sort of resolution to it. And that probably is involved in the declaration. So either it's Ben coming back and saying, I need to study, we can't be together, or Noel like re-saying that he loves Felicity, or Felicity declaring she's into one or the other of them, or she just needs to be alone. Like it's something of that nature, I have a feeling.
Okay. Well, those are the predictions there. And once again, we will cover that. We're missing 2 Thursdays, and then we'll be back on another Thursday, either 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how you look at it.
That was a preemptive cluck.
It was indeed a preemptive cluck. It's a move. Okay, guys?
It is.
It's a move you can use in life.
She has not said which one of us thinks it is which. So she is not putting her like hand on the scale. I do not feel necessary to defend my unknown position. It's 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It's just 2 weeks.
What? It's 3 weeks. I already clucked. I pre-clucked.
You did. I guess it doesn't end all arguments.
I think what we've learned here is that Dr. Zwick exercises are not always as effective as you want them to be.
You know?
Granted, I started the argument with it instead of ending, I don't know.
Yeah.
Guys, I pre-clucked, okay? And
you did. And I love you for that.
Well, I don't know. Anything else that we need to cover here as we finish out season 3? I
don't think so.
Can you believe it?
I know.
Season 3? What the heck?
It does feel like it's been a while, but it also feels like, I mean, did I ever think we would get this far? I mean, I kind of did, but I didn't actually imagine it feeling this way.
No.
It's like we've actually done 3 whole seasons.
It's wild. Especially when you consider how many like minutes per episode. It's wild.
Yeah.
But here we are. All right. Well, guess that's it for today, Fish. So until next time, don't hook up with Ben while I'm gone.
I'm a fish.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.